Everyone, welcome to a new episode of Crypto Tips. My name is Heidi.
And I'm Toby.
And today we are tackling even more questions that were sent in from you guys, our Patreons, as well as a few from YouTube for this week's AMA session. We got a lot, so we're dividing them up into several different videos.
Let me start off
Toby's going to kick it off.
I just want to kick this off. Okay, so this is really cool. Okay, so we're talking about Ethereum, right? So the closest ETH got to flippening Bitcoin was June 17th, 2017. All right? Bitcoin was just $8 billion larger than Ethereum. Lately, ETH fans have been celebrating their gains versus Bitcoin. The gap between the two has recently shrunk to 720 billion. Bitcoin's network effect lead has grown 100x. So guys, I really am bullish on Ethereum. That is why it's our second largest position. And yeah, I get a lot of crap for that, a lot of crap. And I'm still incredibly bullish on it because I believe in the ecosystem, the developers, and I think it's got a long way to go.
Okay, so back to more questions. For Bitcoin, what are the chances of the price going to drop back to the current level of 40 to 50K or lower in the next bear market? Should I buy crypto now that we are so close to the end of the bull run, or should I rather wait for the next bear market with investing in crypto? I'm going to say what I want to go for it, and then you cover it. Okay. So for me, like I said in the last video, if you look at any of the past bull runs of Bitcoin, which you should do if this is your first time investing, you should do a lot of research on what you're investing. And because cryptocurrency investors are hyper emotional and humans are hyper cyclical, they tend to be a lot of patterns can definitely come to fruition. So basically the pattern with Bitcoin bull runs in the past is that from the peak, if you measure from the peak of the bull run to the trough of the bear market, like from the height to the drop, the lowest it goes within that cycle, it's about an 80 to 85% drop. So that means if Bitcoin goes to $100,000 as the peak of this bull run, 80 to 80% drop sends it back to 25%, or 25,000. So absolutely, I definitely think we're going to drop below this if this market is behaving the same as the last. If you're investing now in this bull run, you're still going to see profits. I don't think this bull run is near ending, especially if it behaves, again, like past bull runs where it's going to just hockey stick. Timing that top is not as easy as you might think. But definitely, I think profits are still to be made. I don't think this is the end of the bull run by any means, but I do think it's smart to have a plan in place. If it's a super cycle, though, what is your thought, Toby?
I mean, regardless,
I
don't think Bitcoin is going to drop under 40K.
Ever again?
Ever again.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah, because, I mean...
Are you sure you want to say that?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But like from what I see, like with all the institutions, all these billionaires that are getting in family offices, you have Visa, MasterCard jumping on the bandwagon, and all these big banks and central banks around the world talking about it. I mean, guys, like there's a limited supply of Bitcoin. I don't think people realize that, Grayscale, PayPal, all these different like MicroStrategies or whatever from Michael Saylor, they are accumulating Bitcoin like every day. I think there is one thing where it shows Michael Saylor is buying $2,000 worth of Bitcoin every minute. So it's like, guys, he's not going to sell this stuff. He's going to use Bitcoin as collateral because he understands that it's the only place you can literally put your money that is the safest place you can put your money. There's no other safe place in the world, especially now you have a World Economic Forum saying, oh, well, you're not going to own anything. You'll be happy. You can rent everything. Like,
good luck with
I mean, well, who knows? They pulled off what they pulled off with this. Who knows what they're going to pull off financially. So with that said, I think a lot of people see all the the currency printing, not money printing, but currency printing around the world. This is global. We have $500 trillion of debt globally. And that's inflating at, on average, 7.5%. That's a lot of money being like burned. That's emissions is, You know, so people see that and they're not going to want to sell their Bitcoin. I'd be surprised if it goes down, to past 40,000. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's true, and that is okay. In the event of a super cycle, for sure, it's probably not going to go below that, because these institutions like MicroStrategy, hopefully like Tesla, Elon, I don't know about you yet. They're not necessarily speculating on the price, like trading it. They're using it as a reserve asset. They see it as the hardest asset that has ever existed, and therefore is the best hedge against an inflating currency. So they could very well establish a new floor of price. But again, if you're a new investor and you're like, oh, am I too late? I don't think it's too late for a bull run.
No.
Just know what the outcomes could be. For sure, I think, yeah.
If you're worried about that, maybe have a longer term outlook as well.
Zoom out.
For instance, like people that, bought at 20,000 back in 2017 or 18 or whatever, and the people that bought were pretty pissed off. They were sad, because they had to deal with 2.5 years of, it not breaking that again. They were in loss. And then, people that bought at 20,000 now, they're laughing, So it depends on your time frame. So if you have a longer time frame, then go ahead, invest, put it away, because at least that you're in something that can't be printed away, that you can actually own. Governments can't steal it from you unless they, friggin' shut off the internet or something like that. But they're still not going to steal it from you. So yeah, they can't. Nobody can steal it from you if you are secure your Bitcoin enough, and that's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, and if they ever shut down the internet, all you got to do is check out mesh networks.
Oh yeah.
And thank me later.
Mesh networks that's the way to go.
So cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Next question: are there any good and secure wallets to use on your computer, preferably with 2FA? I know a lot of people recommend Exodus, but they don't have 2FA as far as I know. And I've seen a lot of people complain about lost funds and hacks. Sure. I mean, basically any coin that you are investing in should have an application that runs on your desktop that you can use to store your coins. A lot of them do work with Ledger, which you can use as your own kind of 2FA device. Most of them just ask for a password so it can be encrypted. So ADA has Datalist, Monero has their desktop wallet, for example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they all have it. So just check into that if you don't want to. Especially it's good if you don't want to use Ledger Live to kind of have that centralized application where you're interacting with all your coins on that one thing, and that makes you nervous. Fair enough. It's certainly convenient, but it could be making people nervous. You can interact with your Ledger using separate wallet interfaces that are dedicated specifically to that coin. Something to check out. Next question. I'm definitely getting, maybe the same person. I'm definitely getting a hardware wallet in addition, currently searching for the best option, looking at Ledger, KeepKey, Engrave, or SafePal. I use Ledger. That's why all my tutorials are on Ledger.
And if you guys don't have a Ledger, you can support the
if you
channel
wanna support our
by
channel.
buying a Ledger from us. It's in the description.
Yeah, but basically I do that because Ledger has integrated with, it's a very popular option, very secure option.
Yep.
The database of your information has been hacked, so don't click on any phishing emails if your information was involved in that, but that has nothing to do with your private keys, with the access to your actual wallet, unless you click on a link that from an email that you got from Ledger. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Okay.
But Ledger has integrations with a lot of different decentralized exchanges. KeepKey doesn't, Engrave doesn't, SafePal doesn't. So they're not as usable within your activities for crypto compared to Ledger, in my opinion. Which websites or service do you recommend to keep track of your portfolio across multiple exchanges? For me, or for us, we do it the old-fashioned way with pen and paper, offline.
Yeah.
We're very careful to not share our specific activities with cryptocurrencies in a combined manner where like one platform has access to that data. it's a centralized entity. Read the terms and conditions, read their privacy policy. If they're going to be sharing any of your information with third-party advertisers or whoever they want to share it to, just read it. And for the purposes of Patreon, I use coinstats.app, and I manually input all of my trades. I don't connect any APIs or anything to that, so I'm just trying to keep it as rudimentary as possible in that regard to preserve privacy.
Sure.
Question: would you do it, converting one Bitcoin into Ethereum?
I mean,
that's a good question. A whole Bitcoin? No.
I like Bitcoin a lot.
I think it's much more likely that we would take profits from a different altcoin and put it into Ethereum rather than dipping into Bitcoin for Ethereum.
Yeah.
But that's our position and where we've been from being seasoned investors in crypto.
Yeah.
Next question. Do you recommend buying altcoins for the first time with stablecoins pairs like USDC, USDT, DAI? Because the market is different than 2017, and we have a lot of stablecoin pairs instead of just Bitcoin and Ethereum.
That's fine.
If it's just a one-off buying opportunity, sure. It depends. I mean, definitely look at the trading pairs, the volume, the price differences between the trading pairs, and pick which one works best for you, whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum. Certainly with transaction fees happening with Bitcoin and Ethereum, you might find USDC or USDT or DAI, maybe not DAI, but USDC, USDT, depending on the exchange that you're sending that to, if you can choose to deposit it using a network that isn't Ethereum, like Binance Chain or Tron even. Mm-hmm. I can't believe I just said that. But it is useful for cheap transactions. It is what it is. I'm just not a fan of Tron and the guy who runs it.
Sure.
At all. Next question. Recommendations on taking a loan using your crypto for fiat. Is it safe? I was looking at a company in Australia called Bitcoin Dealers Australia. It's a walk-in office.
I'm not a fan of loans.
Yeah.
So I don't want to deal with a bank.
We are debt averse.
Yeah, I've never actually taken a loan before, and so I don't ever plan on taking a loan.
I think it's especially dangerous if there is a cycle change in this market and we enter a bear market. Oftentimes with crypto loans, I don't know if it's with this walk-in office that doesn't lend it necessarily any legitimacy. Really, they could just as easily just take off and empty the office and take away. But for example, BlockFi, Celsius, all of these centralized finance, CeFi platforms, if you're borrowing, what you have to do is you have to usually put up at least 100% collateral for your loan. That's their kind of safety mechanism. And if you're doing that and then, the trend shifts and we're having lower lows, lower highs, it's a bear market, you're going to have to be putting up more and more collateral for your loan. Otherwise, you're going to be liquidated and you're going to lose everything. So that's definitely a risk to pay attention to. I think that's why there's far more people lending their crypto than borrowing against it.
People can just go leverage their coins on like Binance or whatever, and then you can just skip having to take out a loan.
Yeah, I guess it really depends on how long you're planning to have that loan out for before you can repay it.
Yeah, probably I wouldn't recommend anything, but for me, I would never go over 2 or 3x leverage. There's just no way. I'd never be able to sleep.
Exactly. It's all about stress-free.
Yeah. Being
conservative, being successful, and not being too greedy.
Because whales know that people are leveraged, so they're going to take advantage of that.
That's why they usually attack those psychological numbers, and they attack those leveraged positions or stop losses, and they know where most of them are set, and they push it down past a certain point, and then it cascades. And then we have incidents like last Saturday where Bitcoin did a flash crash.
That was epic. I love that. That was so fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, we got cash. All right, let's have some fun here.
Yeah. This was a helpful comment from a Patreon member. This is great because it was a kind of a response to my recent video talking about VPNs. If you are, let's say, a US citizen or you're a citizen of a country where you're not allowed to use Binance.com, they said tip to US members who can't use Binance because of where they live, check out Mandala Exchange. I think you have to access it using MetaMask. I'm not sure, I haven't used it yet, but it could very well be an option for you guys, so check it out.
That's Joe Rybins. We did an interview with him.
The tax guy that we interviewed.
He created Mandala.
He's got a lot on his plate, probably.
He does. He's a very busy guy.
Okay, last question we have. I've heard that some platforms will lock or even confiscate your BTC if it has a history of illicit use, say on the Silk Road. I bought my Bitcoin on VeerWax back in 2014, but I have no idea and never used it anywhere. Illicit or illicit. I'm a hodler. What its history is before then. Is there any way to find out or look up the history of your crypto to see if you're in danger of having it locked down or confiscated? Absolutely. This is why Bitcoin in particular is called pseudo-anonymous and not full-on anonymous, because the transaction history or the wallet history of that coin is fully trackable. Because you have currently that Bitcoin in your wallet, what you can do is check out the Block Explorer and fill in the transaction hash of that transaction that took place of your Bitcoin if you have it in a wallet yourself, and from there you can track it. If it was on an exchange, however, that is actually kind of obfuscating the history. If it was ever involved in a hack, what we've seen much more lately is when Bitcoin or crypto or Ethereum, whatever, is involved in a hack of an exchange. Usually they try to send it to all these different addresses really quickly and then send it to an exchange to trade it, because it kind of gets lost in the crowd and it gets dispersed potentially to people like you and me if we're on that exchange and we trade it and we get that particular coin. What happens is these exchanges do that history of that transaction, and they can mark where all the wallets that basically the hacker was using to try to confuse the history of that coin, and they will blacklist that wallet. So basically any coin that has come from that blacklisted wallet, they won't accept. So I think on, at least for Ethereum, on Etherscan and stuff, you can find like these wallets are marked. So you can look at the history of your coin, your Ethereum at least, and if it was on that, it'll say it was on that.
I'll take whatever. I don't care if it's used for illegal
If you're
crap
really
or not.
worried about this, what you can do is, since you already have Bitcoin, is deposit it, create an account on BISC, which is the best decentralized exchange that exists, in my opinion. It's not exactly user-friendly, but it is absolutely the most decentralized, and conveniently enough, the most volume that occurs on it is between the Bitcoin and Monero pairs. So what you can do is take that Bitcoin, send it to BISC, trade it for Monero, trade it back for Bitcoin, send it back in your wallet. There you go. And it's there you go. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
It's perfect.
So that's a thing for you.
You know, that's why I think a lot of Bitcoin, like version Bitcoins, the ones that have never touched the exchanges, have a huge premium on it. I think it's
they come straight from mining.
Is it like 30% more?
Yeah, it's like a crazy premium.
It's crazy premium for those that mine and that have version Bitcoin that have never touched the exchange. Like people are paying ridiculous amounts.
It has no transaction history.
Yeah.
So it came into existence within the miner's wallet, and then they send it to you.
Yeah.
So
keep that in mind. If you have any, if you've been mining.
Yeah.
You're
if you've been
sitting
in
on a
since
gold
2014,
mine.
you could have been mining for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So we got plenty more questions. Don't miss it. Check it out tomorrow. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like.
Stay disobedient.
Stay disobedient.
See you guys.
But subscribe too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and like the video and stuff.
Have a good one.
If you don't mind.
Bye.
All right.